What terrible product sells by the millions? Printer ink cartridges. I hate the printers that refuse to print a black and white page just because it's out of yellow ink. Or you have a combo printer scanner that refuses to scan if it's out of yellow ink. Edit, a lot of people seem to be pointing out some secret yellow dots that get printed for tracking purposes. I don't know how that gets used when you're scanning a document though. There's no printing at all when you're using the scanning function. Printer, cannot print. Out of black ink me, goes to store, buys, and replaces black ink then hits print again printer, cannot print. Out of cyan ink me, I will burn this place to the ground. Anything offered in the Canadian cellular plan market. Thanks for nothing CRTC. I recently moved back to Canada from the US, and it's actually cheaper to pay the US roaming fees than to switch to a Canadian provider. Most US plans these days treat Canada and Mexico as part of their local calling area anyway. NBA 2K franchise. Just keeps getting progressively worse, more ads, more incentives to spend money, gameplay barely changes. I remember when one of them launched the same time with GTA Casino expansion and the NBA 2K trailer featured more gambling minigames. This is the said NBA 2K trailer U2.B. My data. I saw you were thinking about Toast today. Here's 10 ads on Toast. I saw you watched a video review for a vacuum cleaner. Here's 30 more even though you've already purchased one. Amazon reckons my recent purchase of a tent was me dipping my toes into a new tent collecting hobby. I buy a gift from someone's wish list and am bombarded by ads for similar products, and now collecting someone else's interests. Be smarter, Amazon. I overheard your office mates talking about cats. Even though you don't have a cat, here is some critical information on kitty litter. Herbalife. I work for FedEx and it's insane the amount of Herbalife boxes that come through our facility. I work at Ups and it's all Scentsy up here. I swear the MLMs have just arbitrarily split by shipper. I bet shippers go after these large MLMs for business. MLMs have no retail stores so it is direct shipping heavy. Reading the other comments it seems that Herbalife has retail stores. Trying to figure it out now. I don't think Herbalife has retail stores, I think middle-aged women have their husbands rent them retail storefront to sell smoothies which are just Herbalife products marked up at exorbitant prices to try to make some money back. And yes, I know men get involved in MLMs as well, but most of what I see is #BossBabe rather than #BossDave. Cheap toilet paper that your finger goes right through unless you fold it over several times. Some people need a trip through Mud Valley to stay humble. It's not a big deal, you had a big mud pie, you used too small a slice, I ate the mud pie and now my stomach is absolutely ducked. Pay to win games. I got sucked into State of Survival not knowing what pay to win even was. Been playing for over a year and dumped money into fake stats. It can easily become an addiction. Lesson learned. Never again. I'd give you an award but I spent all my money on plasma. FIFA. The same shit repackaged every year but they change it just enough so that you're not good at it anymore. Every year could easily just be a patch. I laughed my ass off at that post where they zoomed into the crowd and they were holding signage with 2019 on it in the 2020 game. They didn't even change the fans. Who the duck goes to a football match to cheer the number of year anyway? Hell yeah, 2020 rocks, said no football fan ever. 2020 rocks is something absolutely no one said. Cable TV, from major providers, they made money ducking people over and then when streaming services changed the game they decided to continue finding new ways to fuck you over. God help you if you live in a rural area. You know, the original concept of cable TV with TV without ads. Lol. That didn't last long. Valley screw you if you want to watch sports. Cable has always been a terrible product. Kid me was shocked at how many ad breaks I had to sit through when we first got Sky TV as a kid. We paid for the channel and yet I was now watching tons of ads. Back then though I could skip between Fox Kids and Nickelodeon and rarely see them. Nowadays all channels seem to have them at the same time so there is no skipping them. Oh, totally spies are on a break? Swap to Toonami for some Samurai Jack or a quick Scooby-Doo. For me it was watching Power Rangers, then skipping to Saved by the Bell Sabrina the Teenage Witch. This commenter is the Pro Channel Flipper. Power Rangers hit commercials, flip to Sabrina for a couple good bits. Oh, she's gushing over Harvey, look, the Rangers are back. Penis enlargement pills. Wildly overpriced microtransactions in video games, it's genuinely absurd. $25 for a little outfit for your character in a first-person shooter where you do not see your little outfit is a perfect example. I remember the good old days when people were mad about horse armor. I hate the slow attrition that got us to this point. Paying full AAA title price just for a skin is absurd, yet pretty much every game does it, implying there are people who are paying up. Madness. It's crazy to think about those days. Why should I pay a few bucks for horse armor? This is an atrocity. I bought the whole game, gimme the whole game I paid for. Looks like the whiny gamers of the past were actually right, look at where we are now. When the slippery slope is in fact a slippery cliff. Detoxification miracle products. Get all the toxins out of your body. You already have a pancreas and liver. Edit, and kidneys. Edit 2, thanks for the silver. Edit 3, glad to see so many people actually are educated about their digestive systems. One of my favorite areas of study right now are the gut microbiome and its ever-increasing known impact on our overall health. So far it really seems like one of the most important factors, if not the most, is the quality of care you give your old poop machine. So yeah, don't consume garbage branded as detox products that duck your colon. And kidneys. Hopefully. I'm up to 7, work are getting suspicious about the number of missing apprentices though. Fruits that have to be repackaged individually. Edit, I went to sleep and it kind of blew up. Thanks for the silver, you are too kind. So every supermarket fruit in Japan? You know those super expensive peaches? My last trip to Japan, drove through Kofu and visited the Fukugawa Fruit Park. Right outside there were several fruit stands that gave each visitor a big ass peach to taste. Easily $10 each at the markets in Tokyo. I miss the farmers' markets and stalls in Japan. During peach season, a guy by the side of the road was handing out samples. My dad and I each took some and felt like we wanted to buy some. So I asked for 2. Turned out they were sold by the bag. Easily 10 kilograms of giant Japanese peaches for like $15. Alienware computers. They used to be genuinely top-of-the-line gaming machines, expensive but well-balanced and good bang for your buck. Then Dell bought them and ran the product line into the ground, stuffing them with way too much RAM and way too little everything else but keeping the premium price. The brand still has enough cultural momentum among teenage gamers, however, that they still sell despite the terrible price point. Pro tip, before Dell bought Alienware, they were Clevos. And good news, you can still buy a Clevo from numerous resellers, Eurocom or XMG for example. They still are great, well, besides their software, that can go F, I always go for Clevos now. I really can't recommend Eurocom, I've had terrible experiences with their customer support. My old System 76 was a tank though. Luckily, Eurocom was just an example. The list of resellers is big: Europe, forum.notebookreview.com, threads, Clevo resellers in the European Union v1.652403 USA, forum.notebookreview.com, threads, the reseller guide.803731. Douche, like summer's eve. That stuff is totally unnecessary if you're hygienic. Lysol used to be marketed as a douche. Even had all kinds of ridiculous ads scaring women that their husband will leave them if they don't disinfect down there. Whoa, I looked this up BC, it sounded wild, but very plausible, and the Smithsonian ran an article arguing that they were subtly marketing it for birth control under the guise of hygiene. These ads aren't frightening women into thinking their genitals smell badly. According to historian Andrea Tone, feminine hygiene was a euphemism. Birth control was illegal in the US until 1965, for married couples, and 1972, for single people. These Lysol ads are actually for contraception. The campaign made Lysol the best-selling method of contraception during the Great Depression. Apparently it wasn't that effective and it corroded your insides and killed you. Can't have babies if you're dead. Great Depression problems require greatly depressing solutions.